Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Blame It on the Stars, where we give you an inside look at what's going on in the universe so you can blame your problems on the stars. It is Jade here.
And it's Kara.
And this week, we're talking all about Venus re-entering Aries, as well as Pluto stationing retrograde in Aquarius. But in case you missed it last week, we talked all about the new moon in Taurus. So if you want to know more about that, then definitely check out last week's episode before diving into this one.
And just to give you a heads up, next week we'll tell you everything that you need to know about Mercury in Taurus and also the full moon in Scorpio.
And with that being said, let's dive into the episode. So Venus will re-enter Aries on April 30th at 1:16 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And per usual, the date and time are from the website astroseek.com. What you need to know. Venus was briefly in Aries. It stationed retrograde in Aries, moved back into Pisces, stationed direct in Pisces, and now is back to finish out the normal Venus in Aries transit. During Venus in Aries, it is a time where you are feeling more bold and more spontaneous in your relationships, in your personal values, and in your creativity. During this transit, you feel more drawn to take the lead and be more independent. However, this isn't the most patient time, so be mindful of acting too quickly without thinking about long-term consequences.
How you will feel. With Venus in Aries, you're going to feel more confident and direct. This is a very active energy, so this could be a time where you find that you are initiating making plans with others, or you start pursuing more creative projects. However, do be mindful that you can feel a little bit restless or impulsive, so it's really important to find balance as you are taking action and remembering at times to be patient.
So where this will show up in your life. In your relationships, you might notice that there is a stronger need for excitement. So this could look like having more spontaneous plans with your close ones. This also could manifest as wanting more independence in your relationship. So also don't be surprised if you feel the need to do things more on your own. In your creative ventures, this could be a really good time to take more risks and put yourself out there. And in general, you could feel more motivated to reinvent your image or assert yourself in a new way, whether that is through fashion, self-expression, or just in general being more confident in your interactions.
What will become important to you? While Venus is in Aries, you're going to feel more focused on embracing your authentic self and also stepping outside of your comfort zone. This is a good time to make self-care a priority, to pursue any creative outlets that inspire you, and also to focus more on just doing things that you enjoy. While Venus is in Aries, this is also a good time to focus on building up your own confidence, whether that's reaching out to people, taking on a leadership role at work, or even renewing your own personal style.
If you're wondering how long this lasts, Venus will be in Aries until June 6th at 12:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that could be June 5th if you're in a different time zone. That will be when Venus moves into Taurus. So you have between April 30th and June 5th/6th to experience Venus in Aries.
And per usual, certain signs will be affected more than others. The signs that are most affected by Venus in Aries are Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn personal placements only, meaning Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, and or Mars.
And since this is a Venus transit, certain rising signs are more likely to find love. The first will be Libra rising, since Venus will be in the 7th house of relationships. And then also Sagittarius rising, since Venus will be in the 5th house of romance, and that is rising sign only. There are some key dates you're going to want to pay attention to. These are the aspects that Venus will make while it moves through Aries. The first is going to be May 2nd. Venus will conjunct Neptune, which can be a day for being more idealistic, but also inspired and looking to have more emotional connections in your relationships. However, something to be mindful of is that Neptune is a very foggy energy, so it could be hard to see things or people or situations clearly. So when it comes to Venus-like things such as finances or relationships or creative endeavors, just be mindful that everything is exactly as you think it is before proceeding forward.
And then on May 6th, Venus will be sextile Pluto. This aspect will encourage deep emotional reflection, making this a good day for self-discovery and to see what lies beneath the surface.
And then on May 22nd, Venus will trine Mars, which can be a day where you are feeling more confident and more motivated to go after what you want.
And lastly, on June 4th, Venus will sextile Jupiter. This is a very optimistic energy that can bring about new opportunities in relationships, finances, and your own personal growth. This is a good day to step outside of your comfort zone, say yes to new experiences, and to spend time with others.
And the next thing happening this week that you're going to want to pay attention to is Pluto stationing retrograde in Aquarius. This will be on May 4th at 11:27 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. What you need to know, Pluto retrograde is going to have more of a societal impact rather than a personal one, since Pluto is an outer planet. But regardless, some of the themes could come around transformation, wanting to seek change or do things in an unconventional approach. And also there can be a reassessment of your own personal and group dynamics.
How you will feel. While Pluto is retrograde, you're going to feel more introspective and reflect on things like rules and structures in your life. This could be a time to take a closer look at any beliefs and habits that you have so that you can really reflect and let go of things that no longer serve you.
Where this will show up in your life. Well, since this is, as I mentioned earlier, an outer planet transit that will feel more societal than personal, the ways it could show up in your personal life could look like thinking about your role in society and also what your relationship with technology, social media, and the internet is like. And also, since Aquarius does rule over groups, this could also look like thinking about what your role is in certain friendships, workplaces, or communities that you are a part of.
What will become important to you? During this retrograde, you're going to focus on letting go of any limiting beliefs or expectations. This could also be a time where you are stepping into leadership roles or just reevaluating the personal choices that you're making. And it can be a time to deepen your understanding of yourself and also society and the world around you. Instead of focusing on actively changing these things, the retrograde will be more focused on reflecting on ways that you can make change, starting with yourself.
If you're wondering how long this lasts, Pluto will be retrograde until October 13th at 10:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have quite a few months to experience Pluto retrograde.
And per usual, certain signs will be affected more than others. The signs that are most affected by Pluto retrograde are early degree Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio placements. Early degrees meaning any planets in those signs between 0 and 5 degrees will feel this the most. And again, personal placements are Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, or Mars placements only.
And that is it for this week's episode. Just a reminder, next week we'll be talking all about Mercury in Taurus and the full moon in Scorpio. So if you want to know more about that, then definitely make sure wherever you're listening to the podcast, you're subscribed with the notifications turned on so you don't miss when we post next week. But until then, that is all for now, and we'll see you all next Monday.